Hello everyone, Kenny here. Second video today. This one's going to be about DEI hiring. Now, there's been all kinds of words for DEI hiring over the years, and it started probably somewhere in the late 60s. And you know what we're talking about mainly back in the 60s, hiring of black, I would say black and brown, but back in the 60s, it was more about African-American black men. Wasn't even talking about women back then at first, because at the time, women mainly stayed at home and were housewives. Don't blame me, don't get mad at me, but that was kind of the way it was. Women did get introduced into the world outside the home during World War II. If it wasn't for the women, we probably would have lost. I mean, they built all our ships and our planes and our tanks, and man, they were just workaholics. And my heart, for them. Too bad there's not many of them still alive. Maybe some who are 14 or 15 that were working still around, but there's less than probably 100 World War II vets left in this world. It's a shame, but we are in 2024, 2025, so can't live forever. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I'm gonna try to get I'm gonna try to make my $100 off of YouTube before it closes down. So, DEI hiring. What I think. Well, first of all, let me explain something. When I first got out of the Marine Corps, I applied for and was seriously considered for a position as a trooper in the Maryland State Police. I know my dog is over here gnawing on something, and it's driving me nuts. Winston, please quit. Hey! So, during the hiring process, I was told, as a white male, I needed to be considered for the job to score 94% or better. Because there's a lot of white men with military experience, such as myself, and that had college. Now, I didn't have college. When I got out, I had probably 30 credits or so before I got a degree. Never really worried about it. Always had a steady job, paid decent. So fast forward to when I was hired. Let's go back. The minimum criteria to be hired or considered for a state trooper position was 73 or 75. However, if you were a minority, maybe even a female back then, I'm not sure if they had the female push yet, you would only need to score 63. Now, back then, prior, like in the 60s and 70s, they even had like height, you had to be 6 foot tall, things like that. No hair, no facial hair. I think that's still today. I don't ever see a Maryland State Trooper with hair. I don't think you can grow a mustache or beard. I would have to check that. But unless you're in a, investigative unit or something where, you're not supposed to look like a state trooper. But you can always tell them because you got an air about them. It's just like cops, Marines, different branches. You got an air about you. And people pick up on that. You might not know you're laying it down, but people pick up on that. So, anyway, the class that I was going to be hired for the Maryland State Police in the 80s was canceled due to budget cuts. And so I went and I worked with the a federal job. Went through, as a veteran, you could apply for a bunch of different veteran or government, United States government now, not state government. I'm talking about federal government. And I got a decent job, paid decent, didn't like it. but did that for a while. And I was called back to the state police, and they asked if I wanted to take next class. And I'm like, sure. And then they said I'd go through all the bull crap again of being hired. And then I immediately said, nah, no thank you. That was a bunch of crap I had to go through. They even had my wife, they had me go get a hot dog or something for about an hour and interviewed my wife because they wanted to know how she felt about me being a police officer or a state trooper, and to see if they would cause any kind of family issues, and because they don't want that either. So fast forward a decade, I decided to join the police department that begins with B. And it's a major city in Maryland. So, and it has about 600,000 citizens now. It used to have close to 1 million, but they slowly moving out. So, I don't want to say what city because I'm about to besmirch. I'm about to talk bad about them. So, I just happen to be lucky enough to be hired about 3 hours too late for the class that was starting immediately. So therefore, I was in limbo for about 3 months before they started the next class. And when I was out there, I was pimped out to anybody who needed somebody. So one day I get a call to go to the academy. To go to headquarters, pick up something and take it to the academy. And what I got was a letter. It was in an envelope, but it wasn't sealed. And being curious, as a police officer would, doing my due diligence and inspection and investigation, I decided to check out the what was in the envelope. It was a single piece of paper with 2 columns. One said protected, one said unprotected. The protected appeared to have females, black and brown people on one side, and males, presumably by their names, on this side, and appeared to be, all males. And of course, that was unprotected. Now, what that means, only you can decide that. However, once we got to the academy and we met everybody, I realized that every one of the men on this side, on the unprotected, were all white males. Everybody on this side were black, brown, or women, or anything other than that was on the protected side. So, we had a few people who had issues. We didn't lose anybody in the class due to attrition. We did have one, it was an African-American female who quit because she was, quite frankly, pretty stupid. And I'm not saying about black people, I'm saying she was pretty stupid. Didn't know how to drive a car with a shifter in it because I was waiting for her because I had to wash the captain's car and I couldn't get her to bring the car, and I had to go over and she's like, where's the shifter? So I had to show her how to drive the car over to the wash bay. Anyway, so she quit, and wow. We had all the instructors, the captain, the lieutenant, the major, all the sergeants. They all went over, begged her to come back, and she came back. So we did not lose anyone out of that academy class. And be frankly, it wasn't that hard. We had tests spoon-fed to us. If you lacked ability and agility and strength, they kind of overlooked it. If you couldn't shoot or drive, magically after a few hours of remedial, while the main bunch of the class went on to do other stuff, they were magically transitioned into at least passing driving, pursuit driving, shooting, testing, all that kind of stuff. So, first female in my class, first female ever to die in the line of duty. Again, I'm not trying to belittle her or her death, but she could not drive at all. But with some remedial, she was passed. And she happened to die very early, I think within a year of us graduating, due to an on the line in the line of duty vehicle related incident. That's all I can say about that. Now, that is, I consider, a miscarriage of justice. I don't think she should have been passed right away if she wasn't ready to drive. Now, could any of the officers that were involved in that day died? Sure. But if she had a little bit more training, do you think she could have survived? Possibly. I don't know. If any other vehicle or any other unit was there instead of her car, could that officer operating that vehicle have avoided the situation and survived? Don't know, because I wasn't actually there. All I can tell you is what I know about that. So, moving on. Yes, people get hired every day due to their status, whether they're man, white, black, brown, female, lesbian, LGBTQ, all that. No, not going to go with all the letters I normally would say, because this is a serious topic. But, now we got into this DEI thing. And like I said, there's been different words for essentially saying we need to hire certain people to be in a standard, so we don't look like we're racist, or that we have things against lesbians or gay men or bi-curious or bi-men or whatever. But the level of awokeness that this country has gone through in the last, say, 4 years has dramatically affected this country. Not just, the economy is in the garbage, the stock market, blah, 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 blah. Say what you want to do about Trump, but I had better benefits and more money in my pocket when Trump was here. And I'm barely making it right now with the current regime. And I am looking forward to hopefully Trump doing some magic and getting our economy back in shape. Now, am I a Trumpist? Am I a cultist for Trump? No. I don't trust any politician very much, because politicians, by definition, deal in, politics. I'll wash your back, you wash my back. And that got into like, well, you want your bridge built, you're going to help me build my tunnel, because I promised my people a tunnel to get in and out of, say, New York easier and faster, so they don't spend 3 hours every day going to and from work. So you put in the fat into this bill saying I get a tunnel, and I'll put into this bill that you get a bridge. And that's why trying to pass a simple bill turns out to be something this big. You have people that say, here's our bill, and this is what I'm voting for. I don't know all about it because I haven't read all of it. But you're voting for it, and you didn't read it. Anyway, I hope some of those pages just had single pictures instead of words in it for being that thick. So, California. California has a very inept, stupid governor. That Newsom guy is so way whacked off to the left that he is at the very, very least incompetent. At the very best, he's incompetent. The very worst, he's criminally negligent in the way he governed California. The mayor, Karen Bass, definitely fits and I don't know if she's lesbian or gay. She fits the persona, and I guess you could say that's profiling. But I'm saying she fits that description. If somebody put out a description on radio about LGBTQ female, short, heavy set, blah, 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 I'd be picking her, and sorry, but I'm not trying to be racist or against genders. If you feel like you need to lose part of your thing down there, or whatever, that's maybe that's a mental thing that you need to work through. I don't think you should go off the deep end and do anything crazy until maybe you talk to some people first, and then if you still think that that's a good thing, but remember, you can't reverse that stuff. So now California is probably in the worst situation it's been in. They've had wildfires, and they've had bridge collapse with earthquakes and whatnot, and lots of tragedy in California. But I think this is the worst one I've ever seen, where tens of billions of dollars are destroyed, cities and more cities. Lack of fire department personnel, lack of fire department equipment, lack of water. Now, years of people trying to say, let's build bigger dams and reservoirs so that we can save this water in good times, and in bad times we have water to fall back on. Well, it's always been pushed away. They always have better money to be spent somewhere else. I believe they even sent extra fire equipment out to other countries that needed it because they didn't use it. Maybe they didn't use the equipment because they didn't have personnel. Maybe they should have hired more personnel to use the equipment. And now look at what's going on. It's terrible. I could not fathom what it is to lose my entire belongings, everything I own except what's on my back. I just hope a lot of those people have money in the bank that they can rebuild, and I hope they all have insurance, and that insurance treats them well and helps rebuild their country. Their city and their state. But out of the fires, when the fires are finally extinguished, I think a phoenix will rise. I think people, especially after this, are going to say, you know what? We are awoke. We are awoke. We are awakened to the awokeness, and we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to start hiring people who are qualified, not by the color of their skin, not by who they go to bed with at night, and not even what they think in terms of personal, their personal beliefs, whether they believe in God or whatever and this and that. But we're going to hire people of substance, of skill, with decent brains that function correctly. And we're going to start doing that because this is enough of this. We've tried that, and look where we're at. So I think what's going to happen is people or what's already been happening, especially with this last election, I think people are like, we're done with this type of thought process. And I think a lot of Democrats, they say it was like 47 to 53. And there's no way in hell Biden had 47% of the vote. No way. Even when they had, Trump would have a rally, and there would be like a rolling rally of hundreds of cars following him. And Biden, you would see him go by in like 3 cars and like 5 people clapping. He couldn't put 10 people together. And the Kamala Harris is even worse. Biden doesn't say anything or mumbles, and Kamala just says the same old, today is tomorrow, but tomorrow is the future of the past, and the past is something we should remember for the future. And you just said, what? And everybody else said, that was beautiful. That was great. That was like JFK. So I think people are awakening to the awokeness. And I think out of this tragedy, I think our country is going to slowly start changing back to hiring people who know what the hell they're doing. And if they don't know exactly what the hell they're doing, at least have a good brain to learn. Because every politician will make comments and promises, and due to red tape, can't fulfill all of them. And we've got to the point where we have watched so many people make so many promises and then not hold their feet to the fire and say, well, you promised us this and you didn't deliver. And now we should throw you out of office because you ran on this, and this, and you did none of it. You lied. You lied about everything. And if they could say, well, I tried this, but I was blocked by this person or that group. And I tried this, and they could give a legitimate reason on why their promises wasn't fulfilled, then okay. But if they don't have an explanation of why they couldn't get it done, get rid of them. Throw everybody out. Let's start all over again. Let's throw out half of the Senate and half of Congress this year. Rehire, reelect new people, and then next year let's throw out the other half and elect new people, next year. Across, the House of Representatives, Senate, Congress, everybody. Throw them all out and let them know. We're not going to let you go. We're not going to give you 30 or 40 or 50 years. You're not going to be a career politician. We're not going to allow you. There should be term limits. Look at Marion Barry. He got caught smoking crack with a bunch of prostitutes. And when he got out of jail, they said, well, he was a pretty good mayor. And they rehired him. Unbelievable. But, whatever. People say that about Trump, too. He's a felon and he's this and that. He's a victim of a witch hunt put on by the Democrats because they know a lot of heads are going to roll. There are people starting to resign and retire now because they want to retire with their pension at their pension rate before they get fired or canned without any type of pension or anything else. I'll talk about being fired and let go and not having a pension in another video about a police officer that happened to. Very interesting story. Well, not very interesting, very short, but it's sad. But anyway, that's my thought on DEI. I think if you're qualified, you get the job. You don't get it by the color of your skin or who you go to bed with. I do think there's some limits. I'm going to put a cap on this one right now, but there should be also standards that need to be held to, and it doesn't matter what color or what race or what whether you're male or female, whether you believe in God or not, whatever. None of that should be used for hiring. It should be if you're qualified for the job. All the qualified people here, and let's not hire down here just because we need to say, And I'm going to give you an example. The NFL is as strong as ever. Great games, played great. At one time, I don't think there was one black or brown quarterback in the NFL. Now it's about a 50-50 split. They realize that in the NFL and people in general, that black and brown people are smart. They do have agility and abilities, and they started putting men, black and brown, obviously not females, in the NFL in power positions, and they're doing great. And that could be the same with any job. But if they're not qualified, don't put them in there just because you say that we gotta have 25% of black and brown people, and we need to have 5% females and this and that. And then you have a really crappy team because you had to hire a whole bunch of fourth string. Little Johnny when you had your pickup football game, he was always the last one picked because nobody wanted him because he was scrawny little and couldn't really contribute much. Now little Johnny probably picked up that football and picked up some weights and is now kicking AZZ because he was rejected so much. At least if he was had strong attitude, it might have just knocked him down a bit and made him a alcoholic and a loser because of being put down so much. But hopefully it made him stronger. So that's basically what I want to say. I pray for California every day. I prayed for California before these fires. And I just want to let you know, if I was in a position to help people, I would. Oprah and The Rock, why don't you try giving $50 million a piece and get all your peoples to donate $1 million to $10 million each. Y'all got it. Half of them gave you that money in California. That's where you earn probably 25% of your money. Give it back to the community. Put it back. Get these fires put out and get your people to get a hold of other people and help these people rebuild. And I'm not talking about giving it to government programs. Go out and give it to the people. Go out to the people and say, we're going to build all new houses. You don't have to build perfect houses. Build decent homes and say, you get a home and you get a home and you get a home. Remember that, Oprah? Go back to that. You get a home. Now, I'm going to do a DEI part 2 just because I want to get into the modern day aspects of the Bible. And I'm not Bible thumping, but it's just a thought I had. I'm going to cut this up because it's 26 minutes. So I hope you watch the whole thing. I really do. Put in the comments what you think. Do you think I'm wrong? That's fine too. I will still respond to you the best I can. And the best way to, or the cheapest way to support the channel, my channel, is to give me a like. Maybe leave me a comment because the analytics see that and it helps bump my stuff up. And with 116 subscribers, I'm not setting the world on fire, but 116, I think that's pretty good right now. I hope it doesn't dip down just because of this video. But yeah, I'll get some Winston the Wonder Pup, maybe get Marty back on here and try to keep that up. And I'm going to get into DEI 2 in just a minute, and that one will probably be shorter unless I go off on a tangent again. All right, peeps. Thank you, and I'll see you again.